But now with the barrage on top of it, they need some more damage. Or in this case, somebody to be in the front lines to sustain this. So the only one I can think of is Faramis, but it's not that great against RGPH composition right now.
I've read online threads of people complaining about how strong Zask is right now. And this is from pubs, so maybe pro games are different. But from pro players who play a lot of Zask, they agree that like out of all of the mages, the only one that maybe puts up an okay fight against Zask is Kagura, because of like the burst and escape, and maybe sometimes Valir if you want to push him away. But I don't know if we'll actually see those here.
I really believe that we require more of a follow-up coming in from the Arlet. So with the Minotaur, it comes in great, especially since I can expect that widening of the gap between the front lines and the back lines. Because once again, Lancelot, fast-moving assassin, leaving the Zask behind, and potentially you are also able to deny the Zaman Force away from the Harif. So now it all comes down to RSG Philippines. What's the X factor against Geek's Fam's displacement draft?
I think this Novari pickup is very, very useful to kind of allow Kadera to do his own things, right? We saw how game 1 kind of went from side Geek Fam, where Kadera, if you give him enough time and farm, it doesn't matter. Like, this Zas will be irrelevant if you drag it into the later stage game. And on top of the Astro Echo coming into play, every skill from inside Geek Fam is going to be able to utilize that extra hitbox coming from Astro Echo. So I think this is really smart coming from Geek Fam's draft. I kind of like it just because of the fact of RGPH has such an immobile composition.
Immobile composition.
I guess outside of Lancelot, the rest of the composition has a bit of difficulty moving. No, actually, no, not really.
Does that count for the Zaman Force? Like, yeah, you're kind of like running around, but
within that small area.
Rooted?
Yeah. So once again, RGPH, they are looking for those 5v5 fights. But in terms of split push potential, Geekfan have so much split push potential. And against rat strategies, this is something that Geekfan is very comfortable at.
Split push potential. That's what I want to take a look at also. Since RSPH, they also have got pretty good pick-up potential, which is something that split pushers is really innately afraid of.
Yeah.
Dominator's Descent plus moving on to game number 3.
Thank you so much, Abstract, for framing that very, very nicely between this game here. But it is going to be the decider match between both these teams here. It is going to be Geek Fam going up against RSGPH on who takes this series and who wants it more.
This has definitely turned out to be a much more competitive and close series than many of us may have predicted, just based on how both these teams have been playing so far in day 1 of the group stages. But that is what makes the tournament so interesting. You never really know how these teams are going to match up. And when you have heroes like Novaria to be able to provide more vision, it should give Geek Fam a lot more to work with on an aggressive team like RSG.
Well, speaking of the fights here, interesting enough, okay, Kadera's got Purify, so that means Light is not going to have a very, very good time. Nibor as well, if he doesn't time those Daytonas welcome nicely, he is going to get caught out. So Kadera is going to be pretty okay, as long as he, gets safe farm, and hope that the rest of the teammates coming from Geek Fam is going to be able to buy time across the map. They're going to be good, but the question here is, will Beloyski be able to do that this time? Because 3 different games, 3 different heroes he has played so far.
The thing for Geek Fam this game is that they don't really need to force anything too much early on. They can look for pickoffs with Vincent, but they are mainly actually playing for late game because both Kadera and the boys scale very well once you get into the later stages. So it's going to be up to RG's Philippines to try and get his ult.
Oh no, Nibor taking a little bit too much damage right there, but he is going to be a Barat here, so knowing Barat, he does have that early power spike advantage, but with this health this low, this first total might not be favorable for RGPH right now.
Yeah, I like the rotation to EXP to try and prevent the Barats from hitting level 4, because they know the Tunas is going to be the main issue.
Oh, he took too much damage here. What a shot from our boy. He shot him blind, saw the health, and immediately they take him down. Big catch coming from Geek Fam. And now Light, he is going to try and buy a little bit more time, but he does not have the Way of the Dragon. So this turtle is going to be in the hands of Geek Fam as of yet.
A very easy first turtle here. RSG going to make the wise choice of not contesting it since they don't have the Tunas welcome to play with. And because of that...
Oh wait, top side, Kadera, he hit the spear! He is going to catch Kusei all by himself! 2 kills in the hands of Geek Fam. What a shot from Kadera. What happened to Geek Fam? What happened?
we have to mention this is a major switch up from what we've seen so far, because in both games 1 and 2, RSG have been the team ahead in the early stages.
And now Kadera here is going to be punished for this over-aggression here, like with the kick coming in to try and finish off Beloyski. He's going to buy a little bit more time, forces a flicker, he sidesteps Irad, but it doesn't matter. Irad will be able to bounce back. We double kill here. Caster's Curse, my friend, Stafa.
Yeah, literally talking about it. Like, oh wow, Geek Fam winning early game for once. Nope, RSG just comes back and says, nah, early game is our game. This is our phase. We're not going to give it to them.
Oh boy, this is not looking good. This is okay. I would say it's still a 50-50 coin flip here. They're both teams still has a big win, but Irad has really stepped up in this game particularly. He's doing some serious work here to try and slow down the tempo that Geek Fam wants to play, which is the mid to late game, and that's something that I think Geek Fam has been playing from behind for the longest of time so far.
Now we have. The thing is, Lancelot is not really a meta assassin compared to a lot of other options, but Irad is playing so well that he's making it seem like it is. Having 2 kills already is going to be massive for him to get that lead against Vincent, which we all know usually Julian is one of the most early game-centric assassins. So being able to come out on top there, it's going to be very nice for him.
Oh, speaking of a setup here, RSGPH as of now, they will get scouted by the shot from our boy, so that is gonna make a little bit space. But RSGPH, they just don't want to take the risk, knowing the information they have. Turtle gonna be the priority. As Geek Fam, they are gonna be looking for the jump, but how can they start right here?
Well, they do start by switching Kadera down into the EXP lane, making sure he's far away from the turtle fight, so he won't be at any risk. He can rejoin at any time if he lands a Spear of Destruction, so I think this is a good move. But RSG can take advantage of this man advantage.
Well, Astro Echo comes in, sees the information. Daytona's welcome, catches on one, but Irad still secures the turtle. But the rest of Geek Fam, they are going to lose members out of this here. They need to get out. Irad looking for a little bit more, but here comes the spear. Does he commit to this fight? As you can see, Kadera with that spear is able to create pressure, but guess what? He's not joining the fight. He will take a tier 1 down bottom instead.
I personally feel like Kadera could have actually taken that because there were multiple low health members, but I think he didn't want to take that risk, and he does get a free tier 1 down bottom. So knowing that he is going to be Geek Fam's major late game win condition, he wants to make sure he doesn't give away any free kills when RSG is already the ones dictating the pace.
Oof. This is a very, very intense match between both these teams here, but you can see Gops now in a little bit of trouble here. What a kick from Light here. He's going to be a little bit of trouble. Will he be able to get out here? He's trying to sustain his way through, but he's buying time for his team. The rest of Geek Fam are here, but they just don't want to commit. The Julian, Vincent, nowhere to be found in the top side. He's farming across the other side of the map, and it's just, they have to cut their losses right there and then.
This is still fine for Geek Fam. Like we mentioned, both Moskov and Novaria scale up very well into the late stages, so it is somewhat expected for them to be behind towards the mid-game phase. So as long as RSG doesn't get too much more of a net worth lead, this is still within acceptable boundaries.
Yeah, RSGPA just playing a better lane control right now, and with Irad leading the charge here, they're starting to lose a lot of the macro aspect here that Geek Fam is trying to play, and RSGPH, they're just adapting to all this split push potential right now. And Geek Fam, they may be playing to try to buy time for Kadera, but RSG, they understand that that is the game plan and they are dealing with it accordingly right now.
Will they be able... Ooh, nice dodge
from Irad. Beautiful stuff.
Irad showing us that he still has plenty of the mechanics to be able to play these high mechanic assassins. Turtle gonna be contested once again.
Daytona's welcome does catch up on towards Gops here. He is going to try and escape this. Flickers out to safety. The dominating ascent comes in. Beloyski misses the Minon's rage. He's going to buy a little bit more time, but the turtle still very far off of the play. Beloyski needs to get out. Irad secures the turtle, and now they've got the movements buff, and they are going to chase down the rest of Geek Fam. And Nibor flickers forward, finds one, and that's going to be a triple kill for Nibor from RSGPH.
Honestly, this is the kind of gameplay we needed to see from RSGPH in game number 1. if they took things slow like they were now, baited out resources, I feel like this could have been a 2-0 for them, but hey, better late than never. You could see how they are just waiting and baiting out resources from Geek Fam.
Oh,
wow.
ho, 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 ho.
Irad looking really good.
Oh, the spear doesn't connect. Oh, that would have been a highlight moment from Kadera, but at the same time, RSGPH, they're not making the same mistakes they've made so far. And they're not giving the inch that Geek Fam is looking for right here, right now, as they have to play this very, very carefully right now.
Looking at the itemization as well, nothing too out of the ordinary just yet here. So I do imagine that Antique Cuirass first item from Light is gonna do a lot to limit what Kaderak and Gobs can do, which is gonna be quite detrimental. Geek Fam are relying on them somewhat to actually dish out this consistent DPS.
Well, speaking of consistent plays here, concealed play has happened as well. Light looking for the setup on the kick, but who does he want to find? Because Vincent has been farming. Kadera has been farming. They are still waiting for those power spikes here, and so far, it is going to be a very long time. They need to drag this out for at least 2 to 3 more minutes, but RGPH, they're just playing to their objectives here. Secure the Lord, that's it. I think that's going to be the game plan now for RGPH.
I mentioned earlier, Geek Fam, as long as they make sure that net worth lead doesn't go beyond a certain amount, they're still in an okay state even if they're behind. RSG now are 3k ahead, which is definitely leaning a bit out of that safe boundary for them. Gonna make it a bit more difficult for Geek Fam to attempt to catch up even with their late game heroes, and that's gonna be a good sign for RSG as well. If they can continue expanding this lead, then this game is as good as theirs.
Yep, Lord will be secured from the side of RSGPH, but Geek Fam, they are gonna try to extend this fight. Here comes the spear, and they are gonna be looking to punish Nibor, and yes, they call in the cavalry. Kadera is gonna be mowing him down, and guess what? They find another, and in one fell swoop, they find 3 double kill for Gobs, and now the pause has been called. Things are happening here. I want to see what to you boys. Thank you so much here, but we are going to be jumping into his game once more. But again, you know, last from the fight as well. RGPH lost 3 members. Finally back into the game. Geek Fam finally gets a little bit of a tempo breaker for themselves, and they will finally take the economy lead this time.
It's a huge economy lead as well, because that is a 2k Lord advantage. That is a massive swing, because as we remember, RSG Philippines, they were 3k ahead in terms of gold before this, and in a single fight, Geek Fam has already evened it out, and we can see that that is doing wonders for their itemization. Kadera already... Oh, hold on.
Oh boy, this is going to be a big catch coming in as well. Minotaur's Rage comes in. They will be able to find one here. Meanwhile, we do see a 1v1 with Irad. He's going to get shot in by Kadera. But Kadera, does he commit? No, he waited too long and he is going to die there. Double kill for Kadera. But at the same time, they're losing members here. The rest of Geek Fam was a little bit late, but RSGPH is able to flip the scripts once more. And Beloyski, the only one left alive in that fight.
I cannot believe Kadera took that. Like, yes, I know. Irad is right there. He's so juicy, but you are jumping into the entire enemy team. He waited for a while so that the rest of Geek Fam could catch up and back him up, but they're not going to get close enough. And not only that, because they came to back him up, you resulted in a boy and Vincent being picked off as well. That is not worth it.
That is a blunder coming from Geek Fam. May have overheated here, but let's take a look at instant replay there. Pretty split up fight as well. Kadera was just poking their way through the dominating how do you pronounce it?
Dominator's Descent.
Dominator's Descent. You know, just completely blocking the path, and everyone from side RGPH was just taking this 1v1 very, very safely here. And Kadera says like, guys, I might commit to this, and the rest of the team was already backed off. And I feel like that disconnection between communication is what cost them that fight.
I agree. Geek Fam were not prepared to back Kadera up for that play, and I really don't see a world where he gets out of that regardless, right? It is not worth going for Irad in that situation, as tempting as it is, because it is not only putting yourself out of position, it is forcing your team out of position to back you up, and we saw the costs of that. Geek Fam, despite a hard-earned net worth swing, has already ended up giving that gold back to RSG.
Well, it seems like, for those of you guys wondering as well, the technical pause just now was due to a connection issue. So they have been able to resolve this here because a player actually disconnected. So from the side of RSGPH. So of course there's gonna be mistakes here, but it's not over yet. And now Daytona's Welcome comes in. A final snatch to catch them off guard here. And here comes the spear. Kadera joins the fight. They will mow down Nibor. And RSG, they have to run away as well. Light goes in for the kick. They want to try and finish off Goss, but Kadera is doing some serious work here. RSG, they have to run away because Kadera is gonna mow them all down. But guess what? He's oh so low himself. So he is gonna focus on the Lord. And that's gonna be Lord secured and stolen away by Geek Fam.
We are returning back to the story of the back and forth between Geek Fam and RSG because that's what's happening in Game 3 once again. I suppose we wouldn't want it any other way. A good initiation initially by Nibor, but I don't think catching Baloyski is what RSG is really looking for. They really gotta clamp down on Kadera or a boy in these fights. Try and disable Geek Fam a little bit. So because of that, once again, the gold advantage goes back to Geek Fam.
Oh boy, now it's a situation where it is going to be a 50-50 coin flip. RGPH, they need to find a way to defend against this. And I would say Kadera is at a stage where, you know, Geek Fam has done their job. Make sure Kadera comes online, and he is now currently online. And with the Lord coming in, RGPH, they have to throw everything to defend against this here. Irad gets completely bursted down, walks into the side. Irad is gonna first go down. Nibor narrowly gets out to safety here, but he is gonna be in a little bit of trouble here. RGPH, they still have Kusei. Still waiting for the right moment for the Zaman Force there. Nibor waiting for the Daytona Smoker to come up online. Light trying to go in for the kick here. Geek Fam still not gonna be committing this. They will take down the outer turrets for now. And now with the Astral Echo comes in, Kusei, he forced the use of the Zaman Force. He is gonna get bursted down. He's gonna fall. Vincent finds one, and now our boy finds Light as well. In one fell swoop, RSGPH may have had an opportunity, but it seems like it is gonna be all for naught. Kadera doing so much damage right now. It's up to Irad. Can he clear the minions? Yes, he can. But the rest of Geek Fam is still standing strong. They want to take this crystal. Can they do it? Kadera making work with the crystal, making work with the minions. They're gonna try and shove their way through. The Dominator's Descent comes in. He is gonna finish him off, Vincent, and that's gonna be a nice pick. A double kill for Irad. Daytona's Welcome from Nibor doesn't connect. What a catch from Kadera with the Purify and the sidestep as well. Nibor tried to secure the Daytona's Welcome with the Winter Crown, but it's not good enough.
Things are very, very close here. I do feel like Geek Fam didn't really need to force that for so long, but they got to hold on.
Oh my goodness, Irad, the desperation. Can he get the kill? He wants our boy, and he does have the damage. Killing spree for him. Gobs versus Irad, but Gobs will shut him down and trade him back.
Is that really worth it? Looks like the rest of RG are actually coming forward here to gain control over the map. Yes, they threw Irad away, but this is allowing them to extend their presence to Geek Fam's half of the jungle. And with the Lord coming up in another 5 seconds, it is actually worth doing so.
Oh boy. Now with Irad 15 seconds on the sidelines, Geek Fam can look to potentially rush this as well. They've got Kadera mowing them down. RSGPH, they have no choice. They have to force something. They have to make a play. Nibor looking for the catch onto his Vincent to try and steal the Lord away. Can they do so? No, he did not catch him off. Vincent will burst down Nibor, and the Lord is going to be in the hands of Geek Fam. And RSGPH, they're getting completely destroyed by Kadera, as Kadera mows them down one by one, looking for a little bit more. As you can see, Kadera with the Winds of Nature outplay.
Does he have the spear? He does not. No ultimate available, so he's not able to chase down Irad and Aqua there. RG will still have players surviving to be able to defend against the Lord push, but there's a lot of minions coming in as well. Geek Fam may just take advantage of the man advantage here to try and end the game.
Irad still alive. Nibor as well. Kusei 12 seconds on the sidelines. They lose Beloyski. Mistakes were made, but a snipe from a boy sends him back to the fountain once more. Irad dying 2 times in a row. What a shot from a boy. And again, because of this, Geek fam, they just don't want to overcommit to this play, as we are going to be dragging this game a little bit longer now.
Unfortunately, with Beloyski down, Kadera and Aboy themselves are not going to be able to push into the base with the Lord, which means that RSG can clear it up with no problem, and we may be forced to wait another 100 seconds for the next Lord to come up. RSG, do they want to risk contesting it or look for a pickoff before then?
Oh, what a back and throw from both of these teams. Wanting the point, wanting the series. They cannot afford to lose this series. Both teams pouring their hearts and souls for this match. And now Nibor taking so much damage, and with all the minions shoved into the place of RGPH, they just cannot push out safely as the minions slowly but surely getting stronger by the second, stronger by the minute.
And we can see at this stage of the game that the heroes on RSG Philippines side are really starting to drop off in effectiveness. Like Nibor and Irad are really not survivable enough because Aboy and Kadera just do so much burst now that they are maxed out on items.
Oh, the purple buff in the hands of Irad. They have to fight for every single objective here, the pixels. And again, as the game goes by, even the neutral objectives are so very difficult to clear off.
30 seconds until the next Lord. He's gonna be able to scout out Geek fam here, chase them out of the jungle. So Irad has some stuff to work with. But we can see that Geek fam are cleverly positioning themselves to make sure that they are the ones in control of the half of the map where the Lord is going to be spawning. RSG looking to maybe set up a push on the opposite side to pull someone away. But I don't think it's going to be enough.
Now, with the Lord evolved once more, it is going to be a very crucial one here. All Geek fam needs to do, just play it patient here. We've got one Immortality up on Beloyski, but that's it. Compared to get RGPH, they've got two. Light still hasn't been able to find those kicks and angles yet. Kadera already making quick work onto his Lord here, trying to force RSG to force a fight and hostage them. And it is going to be a very close one.
We can see even one hit from Kadera piercing through the Lord does so much damage to Irad. Positioning going to be important. Astral Echo actually scouting out the entire team.
Oh, they force a flicker up on Light as well, so no flicker kick coming in from him. Takes away one of the utilities away from RSG to re-engage his fight. Again, once more, Geek fam, all they can do is just hostage the Lord as long as they can. RSG, do they commit? But they just cannot.
Minion waves though.
The minion waves are shoving their way through here. Geek fam, they're putting the question here. Pick your poison, RSG. Pick your poison. Lord gets reset it once more. But here he goes. They are going to try and burst down Nibor. No stacks. Winter Crown comes in, but he is going to force the way to back off. But he runs! He steals the Lord! But he won't fall! Can he survive this year? He's got the immortality. He needs to make a run for it as well. Phantom Execution comes in. Now with the Winter Crown as well. Finally goes down. But they once again buy even more time for RSGPH. What a clutch by Irad. What a clutch. And now our boy catching Aqua. 2 men alive. Geek fam. Can they push this to the throne? Can they push this to the crystal? Oh. This Lord so strong. And now the top side as well. Light cannot defend Vincent. It's gonna find him off guard. It's only Kusei defending the base right now.
But the Lord is buying a lot of space for him actually. Look at the map. Geek fam, they're spending their time clearing that up. Light also distracting Vincent. So it's only a 4v1. I say only, but that's still quite the odds here.
He's buying so much time here. Does he get out? No, he does not. He will eventually fall. Nibor back to defending this as well. Beloyski dropping everything, but Kusei still alive. Does he fall? Yes, he will. Finally, and they mow down the crystal at the last moment. Geek fam finally takes the game against RSGPH.
The masters of disruption, the kings of chaos, disrupt RSG all the way to the finish line.